Hello everyone, my name is Evan, and I like to play geography games every now and then. And today, instead of doing countries across the world or continents across the world, I'm gonna go something in the U.S., something more local. And I'm doing this because I don't like really look into U.S. geography since I know the U.S. decently well. I don't really think about other states that much. So I want to test myself and see if I can do it. And so I put a Ron Cetera, which is just like Sporkle, but a little more professional, I guess. And we're gonna try and name all the countries, and I'll chime in on facts and little things here and there. So this is the capital of Ohio is Columbus. Fun fact about Ohio, actually, Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati are the three big cities in Ohio, and they all have similar sizes. Although I do think Cleveland is the biggest, followed by Columbus. In terms of metro population, Salt Lake City is home to Mormons. So the capital of North Carolina is actually Raleigh. It's not Charlotte. And Raleigh is in a research triangle that's had a lot of growth in recent years. It goes Raleigh, Chapel Hill, home to the University of North Carolina, and then Durham, North Carolina, which is home to Duke University. The capital of Mississippi is actually Jackson, Mississippi. It might be named after Stonewall Jackson. I don't know. Probably not, though. Capital of Alaska is Juneau. I don't think this place is accessible by road, if I'm correct. That might be Fairbanks. But Alaska only has three big-ish cities, like Juneau, Anchorage, and Fairbanks. Boise. So Montpelier is actually not the biggest city in Vermont. It's actually Burlington, Vermont, which sits in the north of the state near to Canada. I don't know what the biggest city in New Hampshire is. I think it's Manchester, New Hampshire. Another big city is a Boston satellite city known as Nashua. Atlanta. Harrisburg. Harrisburg's an interesting place. People would think it might be like Philadelphia or Pittsburgh, but it's not. Capital of Virginia is actually Richmond. Although I think the biggest city in Virginia is actually Virginia Beach. A cool fact about Rhode Island is there's actually a huge Portuguese population there. I do not know why, but Rhode Island tends to have a lot of people that speaks Portuguese. Historically. Maybe not today as much, but historically there were a lot. Oh, I wanted to say a fact about Idaho. At one point in the 1870s, about 1/3 of the population of Idaho is actually Chinese immigrants. Nashville. This is Washington, D.C. Hartford, Connecticut. This is Salem, Oregon. This is Pierre, South Dakota. Santa Fe. Jefferson City. That one's a hard one, to be honest. Austin. So, okay, cool thing about Indianapolis, actually. When you compare the cities of Indianapolis and Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh has a population of 300,000. It sits in Pennsylvania somewhere here. Indianapolis has a population of almost 900,000. It's kind of funny because if you were to look at the skylines of both cities, Pittsburgh would look much bigger, more dense, much bigger city. But Indianapolis actually has a population 3 times that of Pittsburgh, which is kind of interesting. This is Denver. Baton Rouge. There used to be a large French-speaking population in Louisiana that spoke Louisiana Creole, but that's kind of disappeared. What do you know about New Jersey? New Jersey has a very, very large immigrant population. And actually, speaking of immigrants, Minnesota has a large immigrant population, specifically of Somalis. Somalis specifically, for some reason. Nebraska. I think it's Lincoln. Helena. Des Moines. I don't know how to say this in French, but it's a French word. Iowa has a huge thing called the RAGBRAI, which is kind of like a bike race that goes from the western part of the state. So Omaha is here, so like you could have like I don't know what it's called, but like something Boulders or something. Sioux City is here, and then you cycle all the way to like Quad Cities, Illinois. Michigan has a huge Arab population, specifically in Detroit and like Lansing, not in Lansing, in Pontiac and Hamtramck. The city of Madison in Wisconsin, home to the University of Wisconsin, sits on an isthmus. Now, an isthmus is a geographical term for a body of land to sit between two big bodies of water. In this case, it's two lakes, and they kind of squish up against this body of water, which is where the main capital and the university is, which is kind of cool. Capital of Kentucky is actually Frankfort. North Dakota, I believe it's Bismarck. Carson City. It's not Las Vegas, and it's not Reno. I know a lot of people think that. Alabama's Montgomery. They had that whole bus thing. Oops. I'm not going to get everything right, but yeah, Montgomery. The capital of Maryland is Annapolis, home to the U.S. Naval Academy. Olympia, Washington. This is Kansas. I believe it's Topeka. This is Austin. Albany. Columbia. Oklahoma City. Honolulu. Springfield. And that's it. Those were all the state capitals. I misspelled Montgomery, but solid score.